Let's get back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620.
When you hear that music, it's time to talk Jacks football, NAU style. The head coach is our guest. That is Brian Wright. Coach, welcome to the show, and we always appreciate when you take time with us. So last year, you walk in, you transform the program, make the playoffs. So we all know what being a coach is all about. It's what have you done for me lately? So what are you going to do for the fan base this coming season, Coach?
Welcome to college coaching, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's right. That's what, my wife reminds me every week. That's what I signed up to do, So, she reads all that stuff, and I said, "Well, you got to stop reading that stuff." You only read a few of them after a win, because even still, we didn't win good enough.
I got you.
Coach, even as a player many, many years ago, my days in Buffalo was like, look, Chuck Knox told us, you're never as good and you're never as bad as they say you are. He said, ignore the papers. He said, you're somewhere in the middle. I'm like, wait a second. I think I'm pretty damn good.
I knew you'd say that.
But you know what? It's for a lot of kids or coaches, but mostly your young men, your players, to ignore the noise and stay focused at the task at hand. How does you and your staff go about that, knowing that coming up here on August 30th, they're playing the 11th ranked team in the nation, that being ASU?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, and we, every night team meeting in preseason camp, and really the morning meetings for that matter. We have a word of the day, and one word might be connection, and just talking about becoming a better teammate and leading your teammates. And the next word is development. Today's word was development, actually, and growing, getting better, staying in the moment, identifying our weaknesses and what do we have to do to get better. So we do a good job on a daily basis, just focusing on us and where we're at and what we need to do to get better. And certainly every day of practice, you can, as the coach, the guys make fun of me because I can find a bunch of them. I can find a bunch of plays from the day, that weren't good enough. And so, we're so internally focused right now on getting better, becoming better teammates, performing better in situational football. Today we'll work some low red zone at practice. So there's just so many moments like that we're so focused that you don't have a lot of time, especially right now, to focus on the outside opinions.
Is there a mantra for you and your staff before you take these young men to the field? Or is it just that's the mantra, to remain constant, stay in the moment each and every day?
Well, we always talk about focus on the process and really focus on the inner scoreboard rather than staring at the outer scoreboard. I think there's some things that we all know what they are to get better at and improve upon. And our motto this year is the word one. We want to play as one. We want to focus on one moment. We want to focus on that one next play. So we're really trying to simplify it and break it down into being in the moment that we're in and how do we perform at our best in that moment.
We're having a great conversation. Brian Wright, NAU head football coach on the Wright Toyota guest line. Coach, let's kind of dive into this a little bit. We know Ty Pennington, the kid put on a hell of a show last year, over 2,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 2 picks. He ran for nearly 450 and 7 touchdowns. So aside from Pennington, how do you believe your team now is better offensively this year and then move to defense as well?
Yeah, good question. I think that our running back room has really developed in the off season as good, if not better than anybody in our program. So Seth Cromwell and Darvon Hubbard and Karan Gossett. Karan's a new addition to our team. That room is as competitive as there is. And so we're really excited about those guys. Our wide receiver room has improved with new additions and a couple guys that have been in the program that have worked extremely hard. We've made a couple additions to the offensive line and build our depth there. So really believe there, and with some up and coming, I think, stars at the tight end position. We've just tried to add to the talent and to the depth and the speed and the power of the entire offense, along with some scheme. There's some scheme things that I think we had to evaluate last year that just didn't hold up enough. And so we've tried to make a bunch of improvements there schematically as well. And as far as the defensive side goes, it just starts up front. To me, we added a couple key pieces in the portal at defensive line, and plus just have a good unit there coming back. Added a couple freshmen, and maybe one of them, maybe two, helps us there a little bit. Where we really had to revamp was in that secondary and the linebacker crew. So there's still some questions to be answered, to be honest, in a couple of those areas. But I like our depth. I like our work. And I like the direction that we're going there as well on the defensive side. And I think that we can become a more accountable, assignment sound defense. Defense played really well last year, but I think still some areas, especially from the assignment side of things, that will be better this year.
And Coach, it's good therapy for me to talk defense once in a while. So if you'll indulge me here a little bit, you talk about Carrion and Wong, and here's Carrion, the second leading tackler, 46 stops, 7 tackles for loss, which is very impressive. The tackles for loss, sure tackler. And then here's Wong, 43 tackles, 4.5 for loss. Then he had the scoop and score touchdown, so he's got a little bit of athletic ability on top of that. How are those two individuals, when you look at your linebacking core, the leaders, or how do they set the tone for your defense?
Yeah, well, Carrion Micah is he's just that guy that you can imagine on the defensive line. Just brings it every day. Brings the intensity, brings the energy, competes like crazy every single day. Is vocal out there, and I think a lot of guys follow that passion and that energy with our defense. Fo Ho Ching's up there as well, and he's a captain. And so he's kind of one of those older veteran, wise guys that just, has been around the block. And those guys really lead it up front. And Brandon Wong, he's battled just a couple injuries. And so, he's been modified in practice. And so I'm really looking forward to here in the next week or so when we can really get him in there, because he's that type of guy at the linebacker position too, brings all that experience and energy as well.
Coach, when you came in last season, you wowed the Big Sky Conference with the way that your team played, and Flagstaff came alive as well in support of your football team. So this season, you won't be able to sneak up on everybody in the Big Sky. They know that you guys are going to be good. And I'm assuming that the fan base also believes that you're going to be good as well.
Yeah, I think it's a credit to our team a year ago. It's a credit to our players and staff and what they've built here. We've built an exciting brand of football. We have just great people in the organization. We spent a ton of time in the community this offseason, getting our players out there and getting to know the community and letting them get to know us and putting a face with a name. So when they show up to the stadium, they know who they're cheering for. But I was really pleased at the end of the year with our turnout and the community showing up for that last home game against Eastern Washington, because NAU football was playing for something for the first time in a long time in the month of November. And they showed out, and so that was really good to see. We know ticket sales are up, and the community is excited, and they should be, and their expectations should be high, just like ours are.
Coach, you alluded to something a little while back when Jimmy asked about, the team overall. And you coming from Pittsburgh State with the Gorillas having so much success, you get here last year, you see what you have, what you don't have. Are you at the point now you pretty much have what you want and what you want to proceed with so you can add to that offense, you can add to that defense and not so much have to make pick and choose like you may have had to do last year?
Yeah, good point there. I would say that we feel like we're much further along in that area than we were a year ago. I feel like there's still a process to this thing, and it still takes time. And boy, sometimes when you win a bunch right off the bat, those expectations skyrocket, and they should. But I would say for the most part, I think we have a chance to get, we've had a chance to get some more of the guys that we want in here, develop the other guys to more of the caliber that we want them to perform at. But there's still some work in progress in that, especially at a couple positions. We had a couple injuries. We had, the transfer portal hit you in some areas that maybe you weren't quite expecting. And so you had to, fill that room with a couple more guys, and that all still takes time. That turnover and roster still takes time. And we had a big turnover a year ago, and we still had a decent sized turnover this year. So we're still in the process of developing and getting those guys where we want them to be.
Coach, it's great to have you on the show. We would love to have you back, but I will caution you, I won't be as nice the next time because I'm an alumnus of Eastern Washington. And you
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So Jimmy B, Coach will be joining us every Thursday. He'll be joining us next week. He's going to be a regular on Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. And
like it.
And then Coach at the end of the year, there's group therapy for all the coaches after we're all said and done.
Coach, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you, man. You have a great day.
Yep, you guys too. Thanks for having us.
There you go. You got it. Coach Wright, presented today by Dos Equis and Backyards. And you can join us this fall, ASU watch parties at Backyards Desert Ridge, also in Gilbert. Live games, cold Dos Equis, and that true Sun Devil vibe. We'll have more details when we get closer to the beginning of the football season. Hey, we always appreciate you listening, either on ESPN 620 or the FM dial 98.7 HD2. Also, you can watch us on the web. We're always streaming. Arizona Sports app, arizonasports.com.